Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me on another video. If you're new here, my name is Quita, and on this video, I'm going to be doing my meal prep for the week. I have to be honest, guys, this is actually for last week. I'm a little bit late to the party with posting this video, but you guys seem to enjoy these, so I decided, hey, why not go ahead and post it anyways, because it is a part of the book that I am really enjoying now. So we're going to get right into it, but first, if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll stick around and consider subscribing, and also giving me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy it. So let's jump on into this meal prep for the week. If you want to see that, make sure to keep watching. All right, guys, so my husband decided that he wanted to have pork again. So we are going to have pork for a second week in a row. But it's okay, because the beauty of this book is that it's going to be completely different recipes. So I'm going to start with my pork butt or pork shoulder. I'm going to go ahead and remove the wrapping off of it. I did purchase 2 this time because I felt like last time I didn't have enough pork. So I went ahead and purchased 2. They can tend to be a little bit on the pricey side. But again, since we are doing or using this book is pretty cool. And you end up still being pretty much under budget when it comes to your meal prep for the week. So once I remove the wrapping, I am ready to cut it up into smaller sizes. That way it can cook more evenly. So I'm going to be using my Instant Pot because I love it so much. It just works out so perfectly for me to use the Instant Pot. It's super quick and it still gives you that taste like you had slow cooked it. And so we are going to go ahead, once we get it all chopped up into bite-sized pieces, put that in the Instant Pot. I am going to remove just a little bit of the fat because I felt like for some reason the ones that I picked up this go around had a lot of fat. So I just removed just a little bit because you need that fat. And so I am done chopping them all up. So let's go ahead and move on over to my Instant Pot and just add them in. Even though I did purchase 2 this time, it still fit perfectly. I am next going to go ahead and season it up. I'm just going to use a little bit of salt and a little bit of avocado oil. That is what the recipe called for. And then I'm going to mix it up just to make sure all of those pieces are nice and coated. You guys know I'm a big seasoning fanatic, so I like to explore with different types of seasoning. So although I just added salt and the avocado oil for now, I did add lots of other seasoning and spices later. So we are ready to turn this baby on, and then we can move on to the plantain. My husband is a huge fan of plantain. Our family just loves to try different sort of recipes. So I did purchase about 8 of these, I believe. And so we're going to use half for one recipe and half for another one. So I had to remove the skin, of course. It was a little bit of tricky because they weren't quite ripe the way I needed them to be, but look, we got to use what we have, right? So I'm going to go ahead and chop up the plantain into bite-sized pieces so that I can fry them up later. It did take a little bit of time to do this process only because of how many I needed, and so it was a little bit time-consuming in terms of removing all of the skin, but I did get it all done. So once I get it all done, then we're going to move on over to my stove and we're going to fry them up, and we're just going to use a little bit of oil and then go ahead and add them to the pan, and that's a super easy process. But first, before we move over to that pan view, we do have a couple of other things to chop up. So while we're in a chopping mood, I thought, why not go ahead and just get all of the ingredients that needed to be chopped up. So this week we also need kale as well. You did notice last week we needed kale. We also needed cilantro, just like last week, but I'm a super huge fan of cilantro, so I didn't mind having cilantro this week. And then I also use cilantro in other recipes throughout the week, some salads and some other things. And of course, onions. I'm a big, huge fan of red onions as opposed to yellow onions, although I do like yellow onions as well. So we're going to go ahead and peel that red onion, and then we're going to get it nice and chopped up and then add it to our storage container, because remember, we're just prepping. We're not really cooking anything. And then we're going to store it all in the refrigerator for use later in the week. So next, the recipe called to make a sauce. So it does have a avocado mayo recipe in the book, but I went ahead and just purchased some. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that to my Magic Bullet blender. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in these chipotle peppers. Now I did add, I think, a little bit too much. I added a full can when the recipe just called for 2, but it ended up being okay in the long run. And then I'm going to go ahead and squeeze in a full lemon and then turn on my Magic Bullet and let that blend up. I did have to open it up mid-blend and kind of swirl it around a little bit just so everything could kind of get mixed up nice and well. And then I was able to finish that off and add it to my storage container and pop that baby in the refrigerator. It was so yummy, by the way. We ended up just adding it on random things around the house, food wise, of course. And then there is another sauce that we need to make, which was super easy. Just a little garlic, some lemon, and then also some of that mayo as well. So that was a really, really easy recipe to make. So we're gonna just do the same, store them in the refrigerator for this week. Next, we can move over to our stove view, add that avocado oil to the pan so that we can fry up those plantain. Look at them, how good do they look, right? So I didn't season them or anything, but I do end up seasoning them after I cook them, but we're just gonna go ahead and fry them. It doesn't take long to fry at all. Once you get that first side nice and brown, and then you're going to go ahead and flip them onto the other side. And then I did add a napkin to my container so that I can drain some of that oil off. Now they are a little bit tricky because they do tend to stick to the bottom of the pan, but I didn't have a problem getting them out. Just wanted to let you guys know that, just in case you hadn't worked with plantain before. It is a little bit tricky in terms of sticking to the bottom of the pan. So that's at least my experience. So next we're going to take the other plantain that we have and we are going to add it to the food processor so that we can make a pizza crust. Y'all, all of these recipes were super duper yummy. And so right now I'm just kind of sifting through the book to see what I feel like we're going to like the most. And then we'll see, maybe we may not do every single recipe, but so far so good. So once you got it to the right consistency, which is pretty much like a creamy consistency, you don't want it to be watery, then you are going to go ahead and add it to your pizza baking sheet. I did also, within the plantain mixture, add a little bit of oil just to make sure it binded together properly. And then you're going to go ahead and again add it to that pizza sheet, spread it all around, and then you are going to bake it in the oven. Super duper easy and super yummy. So the pork is ready because you remember, since I added it to the Instant Pot, it didn't take that long to cook. So we are ready to shred that pork, but first we have to vent it, get all that steam out, and then I start pulling it apart a little bit in the pan or in the pot just to make sure it's ready to go. And then I'll add it to a little bowl here and then go ahead and shred it apart. And we are done with the pork. Super easy, y'all. Everything this week was really easy. So I did go ahead and take the pizza crust out of the oven, removed that parchment paper, added a little bit of aluminum foil on top, and stored them in the refrigerator. And it was perfect that we had 2 of them because you guys know I cook on certain days and then the next day is leftovers. So that's it, guys. That is this week of meal prep. Super easy, super yummy. I really enjoyed this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You got a little inspo out of it. If you haven't picked up the book, I definitely think it's a must pick up, must buy. So I will link that below. So thank you guys so much for joining me on another meal prep video. Hopefully you'll come back again and watch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.